Hello everyone, SquaredCircle Wrestling is back with another episode which includes Roman Reigns must lose his championship soon, Jon Moxley slammed for breaking character on live TV, Goldberg potentially making his AEW debut soon, LA Knight on frustrating journey to WWE, WWE superstars frustrated over Vince McMahon involvement in creative, AEW wrestler announces his departure from the company, and much more. You can check the complete list with time chapters in the description box below. Before we start, make sure to subscribe to our channel for all the latest news. Our top story for today looks at Roman Reigns must lose his championship soon. The tribal chief Roman Reigns has now been world champion for over 1,000 days. Over the past 3 years, Reigns has retained against several top superstars and legends. However, wrestling veteran Conan, speaking on his Keepin' It 100 podcast, believes it is time for the company to find somebody to take the undisputed universal title off the tribal chief. He said, "They gotta find somebody to take that belt off of Roman Reigns. He's like doing a Floyd Mayweather gimmick. Yeah, you gotta give the rub to somebody else, bro. He's already is over. How much over are you gonna get him? You know what I'm saying. What I used to say about Cena all the time. He's already over. You gotta keep, It is speculated that Roman Reigns will be facing The Rock at WrestleMania 40, which could also mean that the reign of the tribal chief isn't ending anytime soon. Next up, Jon Moxley slammed for breaking character on live TV. Former AEW World Champion Jon Moxley got a lot of people talking after breaking character during the most recent episode of Dynamite. The Elite and the Blackpool Combat Club are involved in a heated feud for months. During the melee that closed out the June 14th edition of Dynamite, Moxley was spotted talking something to Matt Jackson like they were friends. On this, wrestling veteran Jim Cornette, on the Jim Cornette Experience, blasted at Jon Moxley for his negligence. He said, "People on Twitter were clipping that and putting it up and saying, 'Look at this bullshit and this unprofessional idiot.' And I swear to God, the AEW crowd came out and were trying to defend that. At first, it was a production error, like how dare the production team do that. What? Opposite the hard camera? What are we supposed to be shooting? The effing hidden camera in the women's bathroom? You would never dream that was going to happen, because I don't know if I've ever seen that happen that blatantly ever in wrestling before." Next up, LA Knight on frustrating journey to WWE. WWE star LA Knight, speaking exclusively to Digital Spy ahead of Money in the Bank, opened up about his journey in the wrestling business, admitting he has mixed feelings about his path to WWE. He said, "I look back on the journey very fondly in a lot of ways. At the same time, I look back at it with a lot of frustration and a lot of anger, because I should have been here a long time ago. I should have been doing this and having this match and all this stuff a long time ago. Although, at the same time, I appreciate what I've done and the way I've had to go about it, and the fact that I've just gotten to live the life that I've gotten to live, particularly over the last 10 years. Knight has a lot of potential and talent to be a top star in the company. Not utilizing such a talent would be a shame." Next up, LA Knight explains WWE's very bad decision to turn him into Max Dupri. Continuing the interview with Digital Spy, LA Knight explains WWE's very bad decision to put him into manager role last year as Max Dupri. He said, "I'm killing it in NXT. It's crazy, like, just the reactions, the way I had turned from big-time heel in the summertime to big-time babyface by the winter. It's not piped in and it's not prefabbed reactions. It was organic, real stuff happening. I come up for a dark match, I get the attention of the right people, hey, who is this guy? But then the age thing comes up, oh no, he's 40, danger. But I'm not the average 40-year-old. I haven't gone through the ringer. I haven't had a bunch of surgeries or injuries, knock on that wood. I've lived a good, youthful life in a certain sense, and I've taken care of myself in a way I would say most don't. And also, I look a certain way where obviously I've got somebody's attention. But that number came up and it was like, well, okay, maybe we make him a manager. So some things happened there. It was not my cup of tea, and definitely I don't think it was for me. But somehow, there I was. Some things happened that we don't need to go into, and then eventually LA Knight was back." Next up, Sheamus frustrated with WWE. Former world champion Sheamus, during an interview with the Metro, commented on the status of his Brawling Brutes faction and his frustration on the way WWE has booked them. He said, "I just don't think they've really capitalized on the group. I don't think they've really let us show what we can do. This stop-start stuff is really hard when you're trying to highlight young talent. It's frustrating, so I dunno. Maybe we'll get an opportunity to show what we can really do as a group, because a lot of those other groups who are out there now have definitely got an opportunity that we haven't had to do some storyline stuff, some character stuff. That's kind of been a shame, mate, to be honest, considering the talent that's in there." Next up, WWE superstars frustrated over Vince McMahon involvement in creative. Sean Sapp noted behind Fightful's paywall that the opening segment of Raw was changed at the last minute, and it was a Vince McMahon call. Now, it appears that a recent change didn't go too well backstage in the company. It was noted, Tommaso Ciampa returned on WWE on Monday night, defeating The Miz. but he was actually supposed to answer the open challenge of Seth Rollins. The match between Rollins and Ciampa was set to get a ton of time, but was changed multiple times over the weekend prior and a few hours before the show. Internally, the match was listed as TBA versus Seth Rollins, but was changed to have Rollins attacked and Ciampa to face The Miz. We're told that the move was a Vince McMahon move and all of those originally planned for the match wanted the match to go through as planned. We haven't heard that it was so Ciampa wouldn't lose his first match back, as there was a plan in order that would have been a non-finish. Next up, Vetran says Eddie Kingston should never win a title in AEW. Wrestling veteran Bully Ray, this week on Busted Open, showered Eddie Kingston with praise. He also stated that he don't want Kingston to win a title in AEW. He said, "There is something that Eddie does very, very different in his promos. Eddie speaks to the fanbase the same way he'd be speaking to his boys on the street, and I loved it. Eddie Kingston should never wear a championship. I want to see Eddie involved in personal stories just like he is right now. He probably don't give two shits about the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, and Hangman Page." Next up, WWE brand split seemingly over. According to Dave Meltzer on Wrestling Observer Radio, it was reported that the brand split is seemingly over with little to no explanation. This didn't come as any surprise to the fans. The brand split only lasted for less than 2 months. It was noted, Vince McMahon was also previously criticized for blowing up the WWE draft after having AJ Styles appear on Raw. Seth Rollins competing on NXT this week was yet another example of the brand split being over for good. Regardless, perhaps WWE should just do away with brand splits from now on. Next up, Goldberg potentially making his AEW debut soon. AEW CEO Tony Khan mentioned Goldberg possibly working for AEW in the future during a media call for the 2023 Forbidden Door event. Regarding Goldberg possibly joining AEW in near future, Khan stated the following: "I have had nice conversations with Bill about being involved with AEW at times. It's a good thought. Bill Goldberg is a legend in pro wrestling, one of the biggest names in the sport, and I have certainly had nice conversations with him at times. I've had nice talks with Bill about doing things with AEW, and that's probably all I can say." Next up, major plans for Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. WRKD Wrestling has reported that there are major plans for Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, which involves the undisputed tag titles. According to the reports, WWE is planning to reunite Tommaso Ciampa with his old DIY tag team partner Johnny Gargano and eventually have them go after the undisputed tag team championship. It was noted, while Johnny Gargano was noticeably absent from WWE Raw, fans saw the return of Ciampa. As we've reported in the past, there are still plans in the works to reform DIY. We can now add current plans have this leading to a feud with Owens Zayn over the tag titles. Next up, AEW wrestler announces his departure from the company. AEW star Fuego del Sol announced today on social media that his time with AEW is coming to an end. He thanked the fans for helping him make it this far, while promising that the best is yet to come. He said, "At 27 years old, I am just getting started. I have barely scratched the surface on showing the world just how damn good Fuego del Sol is. And I am quite literally now the hottest free agent on the market. So now, grind season begins, and it's time to set the wrestling world on fire. And if you doubt me, or you don't believe me, just wait till you see what I do next." And that is all for today's news. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel Squared Circle Wrestling for all the latest updates.